Hi, this is Matthew Rob Payne, and this is just a message for my loved ones, the people that view my videos. Um, it's going to be called Take Time to Forgive Before Moving On. So I'll write down that title so I can remember to type it in the heading. Take time to forgive before moving on. Okay, so I want to address something that was brought up in a conversation I had today. I was talking to a stranger at the bus stop, having a good little conversation. He ascertained that I was a Christian, and he asked me what church I go to. And I said, I'm not currently going to a church. I was hurt by my last church. In fact, I was hurt by the last 3 churches I attended. And he said, why so? I said, well, I attended 3 churches, one for 8 years, one for 3 years, and one for 14 months. And in none of them, I found a personal friend. I didn't find one friend in 3 churches in close to 17 years. And I'm very disappointed with that. And so I'm just taking time out from church because church doesn't seem to be working for me when it comes to getting a friend. Well, he said, you should come to St. James. We meet across the road, you know. Can't believe that you're living so close. You should come to my church. Totally didn't hear what I had to say. What I said was I was hurting. I've been hurt by church, and church hasn't provided me with a friend. What does he think his church is going to do? Provide a friend? Did he get out his business card and say, hey, we can go out for coffee anytime you like. You don't have to come to my church. This is an issue with people who've been hurt by the church. Every time they converse with a Christian will ask them, what church do you attend? And when they say, I'm not attending a church, all the guilt and the blame and the condemnation starts pouring down on them because of one verse in the Bible. You should not forsake the gathering of the brethren. Let me share you a revelation on that verse. That the forsaking of the gathering of the brethren stopped about 2,000 years ago. What they were talking about in the scriptures there was every day, 7 days a week, people used to meet at the temple 6 days a week. They'd finish work at 5 o'clock. At about 6 o'clock, they'd meet at the temple. They'd worship for a couple of hours and then break about 8:30, go to home groups and stay to 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. And then go to work the next day, work to 5 o'clock, and then go to church at the temple at 6 o'clock, spend a couple of hours worshipping God, then break the home groups, and they did that 7 days a week. That was their lifestyle. That was the gathering of the brethren. And the whole church has forsaken that. I don't know when it started, probably when intense persecution came, but they forsook the gathering of the brethren in those days. Now, when you understand that, you don't come under this false condemnation and guilt-ridden verse that says don't forsake the gathering of the brethren. Do you know what happens when you rush to forgiveness? When you haven't processed your pain and worked through your pain and worked through the hurt, do you know what happens when you rush to forgiveness? It creates bitterness in your heart. You push down the sadness and the hurt, and it creates bitterness, that you become very bitter. So, when it comes to church, if you've been hurt by the church, take some time out. Take as much time out as you need. Consequently, you who know me know that I haven't had friends in Sydney. Now I've got a female friend that wants to see me for coffee as often as I want to meet, and I've got a male friend who's a prophet who I really admire, and so I've got two friends, and consequently they've arrived just when I needed friends, when I'm not going to church, and so please don't rush to forgiveness. Please don't be under pressure to rush to some form of forgiveness that you don't feel. It's quite all right for you to pray. We know in Matthew 5 it says, if you don't forgive, neither will the Father forgive you. And we know of accounts of people in hell who are in hell because they didn't forgive. So you don't want to end up in hell. So a lot of people rush to forgiveness, and I don't think that's the right thing. You can say to Jesus, I want to forgive this last church of mine. In fact, I want to forgive the last 3 churches of mine for the lack of their ability to provide me a friend. I want to forgive them in time. Give me time to forgive. Give me the grace in time to be able to forgive these churches for their lack and the way they treated me. Give me the grace to forgive. And say to the Lord that, please give me the grace when it comes time to be able to find a place that I want to forgive. I want to forgive. Give me the grace to forgive. That will cover you. That'll keep you out of hell. Now, when it comes to personal relationships, when it comes to dealing with people on a personal basis, if a person has hurt you, especially with words, it can really hurt and really damage. Don't be in a rush to forgive. Don't feel compelled that you have to forgive straight away. This is what causes bitterness. Allow your heart to mend. Allow God to work on your heart. Allow to enter into worship and enter into intimacy with Jesus until you reach a stage where you've got the grace within yourself to forgive. And then take the time to forgive at the right time. But please don't rush to forgiveness. Please don't put a Band-Aid on a gaping wound. Please don't think, I forgive them, actually forgives them. When you've got hurt and pain and trauma in your heart, especially if it's rejection, for instance, if someone's rejected you and hurt you, if it's built on a lifetime of rejection, it really might hurt really deeply, more than someone who hasn't been rejected before. So take your time to forgive. Take time to forgive before moving on. So take some time out to hurt and experience your pain and fully work through your pain before you move into a stage where you feel compelled to forgive. So that's my short message for you. This is just an encouragement. This is imagine love without conditions. That's what my shirt says. And I encourage you to get one of the shirts of the 160 shirts that are on my website. Take some time out to process your pain before you move on. Take some time out to process your pain before you feel the need to forgive and move on. So God bless you, and I hope this really encouraged you and brought you some relief and comfort, and just don't feel condemned if you're not attending church anymore. God bless.